There's crooks in your castle, then there's knights full of battles. Some fight with the barrel. That's eagles versus vultures and olives versus arrows. Call harder.
The 10 pounds of podcast. I am flanked today underneath me by Bodhi. How are you?
I'm chilling. Listen, wait, before we even get into Muffins Martinez, before we talk the intro for Mr. Grey Cloud, before we do any of that, listen, Muffins, who was sitting at home, figured out how to make this shit go to Spotify, right? So he put the 2 to 2 to finally make 4. So now we're officially on Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify, come to YouTube, Urban Wrestling Network, so you can see our ugly mugs. If you're on YouTube and you hate losing your battery, go to Spotify, check us out, Urban Wrestling Network. Y'all already know what it is. Mr. Muffins Martinez, the greatest of all time. BV, the host with the most. We're stacked. I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to let these guys do their show. I'm just a sidekick here. Gentlemen, go ahead, do whatever you're going to do. I just wanted to bring up the Spotify stuff.
Hey.
Muffins, how are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just like Bodhi said, we know Spotify, but it's not just Spotify. It's Spotify, it's Stitcher, it's Apple, it's Amazon. So you go to all those great different places, just type in Urban Wrestling Network. Boom, you're going to see another good creation designed by Bodhi himself there. That's going to say the UWN, and you just click on that and just hit follow and listen to the shows. Pretty much it's going to be the NWA 10 Pounds of Gold, or 10 Pounds of Podcast, I'm sorry, and MLW Major League Podcasts. That's the ones that are the big shows. So you don't have to look at us in YouTube. And if you don't pay for if you don't pay the $15 a month, you won't be able to stay there and go somewhere else. At least now, if you got Spotify anywhere else, you could just listen right there and don't have to look at our pretty faces anymore.
There you go.
Hey, and who does not want to see this beautiful gray hair? Yeah. Beautiful set of gray.
All righty. So to move forward, Muffins, I know you want to briefly touch on, because I was going to touch on it, but I know you want to touch on the NWA expansion territory. Since you brought it up, you can go first. What do you think about it?
Oh, dude, like when I heard that, man, it gave me chills. There was a tear rolled up right here on my eye. It was about to like come down my face there, because that just brought so much memory, man, from the 80s there and the territories when they were doing stuff in Florida, and they were doing stuff down in Tallahassee, and they were doing stuff down in Georgia, and they were doing stuff everywhere. You had like so many damn NWA shows from different locations. It was just the most beautiful thing you ever seen back in those days. And now hopefully with this new expansion is from Cleveland, Ohio, and they are going to recognize their titles. They are going to do an NWA title there at that company. So in the future, you'll see rising stars, the males and females coming up from there, going to be on NWA Powerrr and hopefully in the future pay-per-views. So the new age of EC3 has jumped up in a good way. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope it expands to other places too, man. Not just Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, no,
awesome.
I think this
Bodhi,
is really important for NWA with 75 having such a buzz with their young core of talent. This is an amazing opportunity. And if Billy Corgan does, see, this is the problem. I don't have a lot of faith in Billy Corgan because he always does a Corgan thing and kind of does something boneheadish. But if he executes this properly and we get NWA, just say Florida, NWA Cleveland, NWA Detroit, whatever, XYZ, you're branding out and you're already, without even us theoretically knowing, we're getting the next stars before we even see them. They're being built up there. And then when they come here, they're polished, they look great. So this is a huge, huge thing. and they're doing what no one else is doing. There ain't no territories. There ain't no real partnerships. They're the only ones that have an opportunity to grow their brand the right way and do it where more fans across the states get excited because listen, that indie that they're working with now, they have their own following. Now that following is going to start fucking with NWA. So the more they do this, the more eyes are on NWA, the more financial backing comes to NWA, the bigger NWA can get. They can start keeping their stars and not lose them. So this is a massive, massive win. And I hope that this works out the way we think it is because NWA is going to really start making some serious noise.
And I know that they're coming down to Florida. I think next month? I believe Sarasota. So
Sarasota,
that could be the next, the announcement there in November where hey, we got Sarasota now, NWA, another partnership or another territory. Now you go Cleveland, you go right to Sarasota now, Florida. There's the nice company that they do stuff with in Wildcat down in New Orleans. And we've seen a lot of the wrestlers do stuff on the pay-per-views, and they do the pro promotion shows.
Yeah,
and you see the guys on NWA Powerrr a couple of months ago. So if they do that there, that's another territory there in New Orleans. Another hotbed of wrestling there.
Yep.
So
big things happening.
Get that Cajun up.
Word up, get that gumbo going.
Yeah. Yes.
So to move forward, let's go into the actual NWA Powerrr show itself. We kick things off with the NWA TV Championship match, the finals of this match, Zicky Dice versus MIMS. And I will say just this before I give it off to Bodhi. What a phenomenal finish. I love the way it was done. The match was great. My only gripe is I don't think it should have kicked off the show. I think it should have ended the show. But other than that, I think the right person won. And I can't wait to see what happens moving forward. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, MIMS wins the match. Bodhi, we'll give it off to you.
So now I wanted to go into this and do it the right way because if you paid attention to the show, NWA was really quick to say he left, meaning Zicky Dice left, and he looked, tried to get the bag and try to do his thing and didn't care. And to me, this felt like not a revenge thing, but more like when you turned your back on us, now we gotta stick it to you, right? Like that's how I felt with the whole yet about it and everything. But the storytelling, and this is why I love Zicky Dice so much. Now I'm a MIMS fan. I love MIMS. Pause. But Zicky Dice walking out the ring and acting like, fucking I'm out of here. I'm gonna whatever. The storytelling in this match, the constant roll-ups at the end, like this was a awesome match. And I did not mind it being in the beginning because, as you know, you want a great match to start your show off. Right now, I'm not saying that this should have been the opener, but it didn't bother me that it was the opener. And what a way to go because, we were all sitting back saying, "Damn, it feels like this is Zicky Dice's belt to lose," right? Like, and MIMS just keeps growing in the company and growing in the company. And listen, he finally got his due. Now this is where MIMS has to step up. MIMS got to start having some really good promos. MIMS got to start having some outstanding matches to say, I'm here. And I don't want just this, right? Like, I want to be the next EC3. I want to be the next Tim Storm, whoever you want to call that's holding the 10 pounds of gold, sweet Charlotte. This is MIMS' opportunity to showcase I'm ready to be here and I'm a star. MIMS for champion.
Yeah, and I'm surprised our host Bill Vink didn't mention how important they made the belt look right on the beginning with that nice vignette of the NWA title, TV title. Yep. And people forget, man, and I gotta bring this up. NWA TV title was one of the most prestigious belts out there in the 80s and 90s. Tully Blanchard held the title the longest for over close to 350 days. Lost it for 2 months. Got it back for another 300 and something days right after that. and the only person that held the title a lot more was Art Anderson, and I think he won it like 7 times. Now, of course, when WCW bought NWA, title went to shit from there. Unfortunately, and the last real, I want to say, in wrestling in the last 30 years, that was a TV title was ECW with RVD, and he held his title for close to 3 years, and that was the biggest belt in that company. There was the TV title over anything else. So, we now we get to Mims. Mims 4 years ago, me and Chef or me and Boy going like, who the hell is Mims? Like, who is this guy? This guy, what is this? This guy is a jobber. This guy is just a jobber, man. He got like what, like an afro or a little high fade. What the hell is this dude? Now you fast forward 4 years later, now is Big Strong Mims. He's a cornerstone of the new NWA era for the last 4 years. And you could say he's, homegrown there, because I never saw him anywhere before the NWA. And he's grown in leaps and bounds. And surprise, surprise, he won the title from Zicky Dice. And unfortunately, Zicky Dice, like Bodhi said, this was kind of a revenge by NWA by saying, hey, remember when you left and you wanted to get your freedom because you wanted to get the bag? We let you go. And then for 2 years, you were a clown at a different company because they never used you to your full potential, how the NWA was using you. And you got stuck for 2 years down somewhere else, playing sidekicks to, what's that guy's name? Swagger or whatever his name is?
Swinger.
So he became a comedy bit for 2 years.
Yeah.
Now he comes back thinking that I'm going to pick up where I left off, and then we said, "No, you're not. No, you're going to have to prove yourself this time around."
Like when me and Muffins were first doing the NWA podcast, Zicky Dice and I was going to say Tony Starks, Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks.
They were battling. Go ahead. We got this. They're battling back and forth, killing it, right? Like Ricky Starks was the champ. Then you had Zicky Dice as the champ.
Yep.
And the work that those two guys were doing, both guys can talk. Ricky Starks on AEW, you see him talking more often. He's killing it. So you're like, NWA had this first, and they were executing this. Ricky Starks, had an amazing opportunity. He took it. Zicky Dice felt, I have an opportunity here. It just didn't pan out the way you thought it was. And then you can't just come back and think, I'm going to come back and be the guy that I left with. Nah, homie. Not how shit works.
NWA had a lot of guys, and when COVID hit, that was it. A lot of guys, they started looking at other stuff, and AEW was the one that was doing those shows with no fans, and they were having wrestlers on each side of the barricades, and a lot of guys were jumping ship because now we're getting seen live and we're working. And COVID nearly destroyed NWA, but now they're slowly coming back, and they had NWA 75 was an amazing show. Now Mims is the new TV champion, and we'll see what happens going on from here. Like you said, now we'll see what type of champion he is. Who does he go up against as the pay-per-view Simwai or whatever it's called, coming up, and we'll see who will be the contenders, what kind of matches he's going to be in. Do they have faith in him to hold it for a long time or not? We'll find out in 2 months or 3 months if they do or not. So
big facts.
All right, yeah, no, that's fair enough for me. So I'm going to move forward here a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to move forward just a little bit here. Because you had mentioned something, I definitely agree with you. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how Mims takes his title and see how he grows with the title. Some people, they grow into being a champion, and we have seen that before, and I think that'll be the case with Mims. But moving forward, we had a really great promo here from EC3, and I liked this promo. one of the things that he mentioned kind of really made it seem like we're seeing kind of the end of Tom Latimer, at least in my opinion, especially when he talked about choosing lovers specifically.
Well, hold on.
And when he said that you chose her and I chose this title.
Wait. I need you to be way more specific when you see the end. You say the end of Tom Latimer. In what retrospect do you mean that? Because that can mean a lot of different things.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Latimer will be wrestling for a while. There's just that promo to me was kind of awkward because like when you sit there and you say something like that, and maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but when you choose your lover over something else, that normally means you're kind of walking away.
No, that don't mean that. What he meant was Tom Latimer's drive and goal is Camille, which it should be because that's his wife. Where EC3's standpoint was my drive and goal is Charlotte, Sweet Charlotte, which is the 10 pounds of gold. That's all that meant by that is my passion and my fight.
Right, but also what does Tom Latimer do after that? Your passion
and fight is for her.
Right, but what does he do after that?
What does Thomas Latimer do after that?
Let's be honest, we all know he's not winning at Southwind.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got no belt, he's got nothing. And depending on what happens with Camille at the pay-per-view, we'll know that too. So what does Tom Latimer do?
Whatever they book him to do.
Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a EC3 promo. I know that much. And when he mentioned about the love and you choosing love over wrestling, I'm choosing my belt over love. That kind of like, whoa, that kind of hit hard there. But I'm still a little confused about this whole situation with the TV title. EC3 was the one who laid the challenge to Latimer. Latimer never turned in his title and said, I won 7 times, I'm turning in my title to go after EC3 and the heavyweight title. It was EC3 who offered him, who baited him for weeks to say, accept this match. And all of a sudden, they took the title from Latimer. And I'm still thinking to myself, like, well, hold on. And they keep saying, well, Latimer turned in the title after he won 7. No, he didn't. Not once did he ever turn the title over. So how can they be saying that he did that when he never did? There's not one video anywhere that says I'm turning in my title. So, like, I want to say either Bodhi said this before.
This could be either lazy booking.
No.
It was definitely me.
He loses this match, and then he goes, "Hold up, I want my TV title back. I agreed to this. You guys took it. I want my title back."
Yeah, like,
and then goes something that way with against MIMS or whoever is holding the title then. But I mean, there's different ways of how you could go with this, making it seem like he's gonna just get up and leave with Camille, because even Camille said that she's not even turning in her rematch for the title, and she wants to be a manager. So unless this is their swan song, and both of them are leaving, that's a different thing right there.
Yeah, and I agree with Muffins because, like, when you think about the option C, right? Option C is always I'm cashing in my shot, right? Like that's always how it's been. Any gimmick thing, you show it, right? Because that's the whole gimmick of I can cash this in and I can get that. When you have the briefcase, you see them run down, slide it like, yo, hurry up, because they're cashing it in. Thomas Latimer never handed it to no one. They never even had a backstage anything. So how did his belt come off his waist when he never said yeah? Like, you challenged me for your belt. why do I got to give up my belt?
That's
Right? Like that's the only thing that don't make sense. And if Muffins is right and this is their duel and we out, cool. I'm okay with that. But I think this was weirdly done and it made no sense. So who knows what's going on? But but this is EC3. This is not Overman, right? Like Overman promos are kind of goofy and over the top. This is EC3 that we've seen as the Impact Wrestling heavyweight champion, where he has an educated palate, he talks with a passion, and you hear everything makes sense, right? Like EC3 is great for that. This is the EC3 NWA needs. The Overman thing is kind of goofy for me. This promo says, I am the NWA. This feels like an NWA heavyweight champion worthy guy. This feels like a 10 pounds of gold kind of guy.
You know, and one more thing, and not to get off the subject, but another thing, you know, like you said with the Overman is right there doing the same thing, you know, with EC3 at OVW and down there in Kentucky, you know, being Al Snow's school or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be something in the future where that becomes part of the property or you know, territory of NWA. Now you see OVW with NWA, you know, like their AAA school, like the NXT or something like that. How WWE used to have it before back in the days with the OVW guys coming over. You know, that would be something humongous for 2024 if something like that happens. I know I saw something that happened a couple of nights ago, and they had a match with Tiffany Nieves and another lady, I can't remember her name, and Billy Corgan was there. And he said, whoever wins this match will be in the pay-per-view coming up in October. Tiffany Nieves wound up winning the match. So now she's expecting to be at the show, wrestling, doing on some type of capacity, doing something there. So that could be another, you know, little branch thing thrown, like, okay, we're working towards a partnership, or I'm buying OVW, or this is going to be a territory or something like that. Like I said, I didn't want to jump off, but with all, you know, it just kind of just popped in my head when the Overman thing came up. So,
I mean, but going back into that, and you know, at this point, BB, this is where you're going to have to save yourself from me and Muffins, because when we start talking and going back and forth, we'll keep talking on specific things. Now, the thing is with OVW, if they become territory with NWA, I would love to see a Jesse Goddard's versus EC3, right? Like, we all know Jesse Goddard's was super loyal to Matt Dixie and Impact Wrestling. We've seen them live so many times. Mahabali Shera, we've seen him very green into what he's done now in OVW. Him versus an EC3 is straight money, right? Like, and EC3, when they say that you fought the monster Tyrus and won, that's not a monster. You fighting Mahabali Shera, that's a monster, right? Like, that is a beast. And that's the kind of stuff where we were talking about territories where NWA would have an advantage over pretty much any professional company, with the possibilities of all these amazing matches to go hand in hand with the territory and NWA. My fault, BB. You better go next, because me and Muffins are on a roll.
And he messed me up right now, because that's exactly what WWE did with NXT.
Yeah.
They said, we're going to change this. We're going to put it back to NXT. And it's going to be our AAA. It's going to be our own farm system.
Yeah.
Go ahead, baby.
All right,
Go ahead.
So to move forward, Southern Six with Ricky Morton, Kerry Morton, and Alex Taylor taking on the Spectaculars, and they were anything but spectacular. And so, as we know, we obviously know the winner of this one, the Southern Six. I mean, if you thought it was going to happen any other way, you're an idiot. So, Southern Six, everybody, did everyone love how they did?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah,
yeah. I love, like, I mean, the more I see them every week, the more I love them. And we're not even seeing them every week, so they're not even trying to push them down our throats.
Nope.
They wasn't there for the last 2 weeks, so, and that was a good match. I still hate that little guy who looks like Bodhi.
You better leave my cousin alone.
Yeah,
he's actually kind of getting on my nerves as well. I don't like that little Rolando guy. I'm starting not to like him.
But but I love the whole match. I love the ending. So there's 6. I'm still waiting for them to add 2 or 3 more members to actually make it 6. Because right now it's 3, and the father, Ricky Morton, is 4 if you count him. So
the only thing I'm gonna say about this match.
So 4.
Yeah, the only thing I'm gonna say about this match is, when you hear people say there's levels to shit, right? Like, it just feels like the Southern Six are on a whole nother level, and these guys weren't even close, right? Like, and it's taking nothing away from these brothers because they're on NWA. This is their craft, and they're on a big platform. Salute to them. But watching this match, I'm like, man, you got outclassed so quick, so fast that the Southern Six, they're on another level. And there's not many teams, I think, in NWA, big or small, that's going to be able to compete with them in all facets of the wrestling industry, like the wrestling game.
Right. And to move forward, Jack Stain, Chris Silvio Esquire, and Bulletproof Blake Troops summit, if you will. I liked this. It set up what needed. It set up what it needed to do. Submission match. We're gonna get it eventually. I thought they'd probably aim it for Samhain. Maybe we're not getting it at Samhain. Maybe we'll get next week. Who knows? But eventually, within the next, incoming weeks, we'll be looking forward to the submission match. Muffins, we'll start with you. Your thoughts?
Another good. I mean, this was a good show. Period, from beginning to end. All the interviews, everything, they were awesome. That guy Esquire, that dude, I could sit there and listen to him talk because his voice just is engaging, and I get mesmerized by his storytelling, telling the story about Jax and the family, all that kind of stuff with his father and stuff like that. Like, I was like just waiting for him, just every word. So whoever this guy is, I'm sold on him. Jack. We already know what Jack's name brings, and Bulletproof. He never had a good record as an MMA fighter, but I seen him wrestle, for championship wrestling down in Hollywood. So I know he can actually move in the ring. I don't see him beating Jax though. So unless there's going to be some kind of interference, or there's going to bring another tag team partner for Bulletproof, that'll be the only way that this gets over. But overall, man, that's how you do a promo to build something up.
But this is where NWA has been doing really well, right? Like, you've been getting really good vignettes and promos, and you get a few misses, but there's more hits, right? Like, and you're like, okay, this Bulletproof guy, I'm sold. Like, I didn't know his championship wrestling of Hollywood stuff, and but he doesn't gotta say much. Like, people will go, all he says is lights out. That's because he's gonna put your lights out, right? Like, the guy looks like a fucking machine. Like, why would he need to try to talk when he got the little guy who, if he opens his mouth, you're listening, right? Like, and he doesn't pause where he's thinking. The guy understands how to talk his shit, and like Muppet said, to a T, he's a storyteller, right? Like, he knows how to tell a story.
Guy, Jamie Steele, or whatever his name was. Is it Jamie Steele?
Stanley. Jamie Stanley.
Yeah,
that's my dude.
Stanley, yes.
That's a guy I like too.
Young too, right there, man.
But yeah, but Chris,
wow.
I think his name is Chris Silvio Esquire or something like that.
Esquire.
Yes. I like this dude, Blake Troop, and I can't wait for Blake Troop to tap this motherfucker out because Jack Stain ain't on that level. He's not on that level.
All right.
I'm telling you, he's going to tap, or he's either going to tap or he's going to get put to sleep. Ain't no moving over. He's getting put to sleep.
All righty. So to move forward, the Vampiro promo, I'm going to skip it. I don't give two shits about it. He lost me when we started talking about magic and centuries. I was like, what type of crackhead shit is this?
Sal Berland. Sal Berland.
Yeah.
Yeah, another. I don't understand that either. With gags the gimp or whatever. Like,
Well, listen,
To give everyone a recap,
those are the misses that Bodhi just mentioned.
Oh, hold on. Let me get it out.
Those are the misses right there.
Yeah. Sal Vapal versus Judeus. I'll just give a quick.
Yeah, we can skip.
All right, that's great. Anyway, Judeus won. Gags came out. There's disqualification. There you go. Everyone, you've been updated. All right, next up. Oh, fuck, not this guy. Rolando Freeman's promo.
Too long with us.
Bodhi's little cousin.
Freeman, Jesus Christ.
Bodhi's little cousin. We could skip that too. Just skip it.
But the loser leaves the company.
Long story short.
Yeah,
loser leaves the company. Rush Freeman versus Brady Pierce next week, and I can give two shits less about that. Your thoughts? I already know Muffin said next. Bo, do you got anything?
Put some respect on my little cousin Rolando Freeman's name. Put some respect on his name.
All right,
I guess we're going next.
Chris Adonis came down.
For get your shit together. Go next.
Yeah, Chris Adonis states his intention to become a 3-time national champion. He basically challenged out Thrillbilly Silas Mason. Now, I'm going to say this since you don't want to talk about it. Now, let's be honest now. There's no way in oblivion that Thrillbilly is losing the belt that quickly to Chris Adonis. Yeah. Thrillbilly should have an easy night with Chris Adonis, so I'm going to say. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Nope.
So we've gotten through Vampiro, Sal Vapal, Rolando Freeman, Chris Adonis. All right, we got through all that. And then the main event.
Yes.
The NWA USA Tag Team Championships, Daisy Kill and Talos versus AJ and Casey Kazan.
Yes,
whatever.
His younger brother.
Kazan, there you go.
Katansa.
Yeah. Obviously, of course, Daisy Kill. Yeah, obviously, of course, Daisy Kill and Talos won this match. It was what happened after, though, that I really liked. Yes. As the Immortals came out to close the show, we had an impromptu second tag team match for the NWA USA Tag Team Championships, and then they left, and so it was a count out. So that kind of leaves me kind of questioning what's going to happen at Southend. Will we see some type of hardcore match where maybe there's like no count outs, no disqualification, hardcore, falls count anywhere, whatever the case may be. I actually did like the first tag team match. I thought the second one was a nice little surprise. I had no problem with it. Muffins, we'll start with you.
What's the name of the second group?
The Immortals.
The Kazana Boys.
The Immortals.
Sorry, yeah. Hold on. So Muffins, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so
wow, you cutting me off?
Muffins, we'll start with you. Thank you.
All I was gonna say is this: two things that I like about this whole thing was I like the country gentleman that at least they found a tag team, kept it on the family with his little brother or whatever. I want to see how they will develop in the future, and hopefully they'll get better. So I like them. My boy came out. Now, when the show was ending, I saw the credits, and all of a sudden, I heard the music, and I see the Immortals coming out. I'm like, whoa, what happened here? I said, hold up. We're going to get a second match. I said, hold up. And my boy, Alderson there, who I praise since the first day I saw that dude, that guy is my default player. I'm building my wrestler looking like that dude right there. Always those moves that he was doing with those leaping and doing those European uppercuts from the front to the back, jump out. Dude, this dude is one athletic freak of a Viking. You see the Viking Raiders in WWE, and you kind of go like, those are those fat, lazy Vikings that just sit there and just want to eat this shit. And then you see Odinson, and you go like that. That is how a Viking is supposed to look. That's the Thor of the Vikings right there. That's the leader that you want to follow into battle, because he's going to go out there and take half of people out and leave you the little space for you to practice, and he's gonna take everything. That's the guy that I want in my team. And for a second there, I thought Talos and Daisy Q were going to lose those titles until they got up and get the boots and left. Because Daisy didn't want to deal with that match at all. And Talos was the one that said, hey, I could go for one more. So I'm definitely intrigued what's going to happen between them two teams. If they do the match at Sawa, if they're going to do it like you said, some kind of gimmick, and then maybe they'll add a third team because of what happened with the country gentleman, but I hope not. But I definitely want to see what's going to happen in this match with these guys, and just give me Odinson against Talos, and just let Odinson just destroy any giants out there, man, because I would love to see this dude get pushed to the moon in the future.
So the guy Talos, he's a giant, right? Like you said.
Yes.
I agree. But his power game doesn't look like it matches his size, right? Like, I don't know if it's because he's slow and stiff or whatever, but if you look at the Immortals, their power game is crazy. Like, they can't match that. Like, these two guys, they're way more athletic, they're way faster, they're way agile, they're way stronger. The Immortals are going to run through these guys. I'm just telling you now, unless you have somebody help them, the Immortals are going to be the tag team champs. I'm just saying, it's leading up. There's no way that this doesn't mean something. You don't just throw this in there just to throw it in there just for shits and giggles. This is leading up to something big, and I think it's time you take the titles off of those two bozos because they're not those guys. They're not them.
So my last question, what I always do is we rate the show. I liked this show. I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10 for me.
Oh.
I liked how everything went. It flowed very it flowed very well. The opener kept me. The ending kept me wondering. For the most part, everything in between was pretty good. There's only 3 spots were they weren't bad. So that's why I didn't score it lower. And they did their job in every way, in every sense of the form. Every storyline got pushed forward, and we had 2 championship matches. Again, I can't really complain about that on another episode of Power. So, yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. Jorge or Muffins, your rating.
I wish the TV title would have been the main event. I would have loved it to be that, to finish the show on a real humongous high note with Mims winning and stuff like that. I give it the show a 7 out of 10. The 3 misses being everything that happened after Bodhi's little cousin came out, and then the interview with Vampiro, and then the interview with him, and then the interview with the good-looking Jesus, or fine, I don't know why he's calling himself that, but that makes no damn sense. But I raised it up to a 0.5 when Odinson and the Immortals came out. There as a surprise there at the end, got me back, popped up again, said, whoa, hold up. There's a little surprise here. So I pushed it up to a 7.5.
Okay, so for anyone over the age of 40, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the game of The Price is Right. He went 7. He went 7.5. I'm going to go 7.6. So I'm going to do the $1 extra.
You can't do that. You can't do that. It's either 7.5 or 8 or 7. Yeah. You don't do no damn 0.6.
Why?
Good God.
Muffins knows exactly what I'm talking about. The Price is Right. You know how you have that one asshole that goes $1 over?
Like, I agree.
This ain't the damn Price is Right. Yeah. You either go with an 8, a 7.5, or a fucking 7.0.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are making too many rules here.
Ain't no rules, man. Who the hell was a 7.6?
All right, so I'll go with 6.5, even though I want to go 7 because I don't want to agree with Bill Bank here. I'm gonna go with 6.5, even though I'm saying it's a strong 7. But yeah, no. I mean, and listen, Ronaldo Freeman, put some respect on his name.
Fuck him. So, with that being said, technically it was a 7 across all the boards, at least from everybody. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the Urban Wrestling Network. This is the 10 Pounds of Podcast for my co-hosts, Muffins Martinez and Bodhi, and myself. We are out of here. Peace out, everybody.